Hello my friends, you see, not only it gets worse for Russians, but it is actually unsustainable for them to continue the war as it is. In my previous video I already mentioned you the territorial gains of Ukraine which happened because of the Russian inability to send reinforcements and supplies. So Ukraine used this critical time and went an attack in Zaporizhia direction towards Kamensk, and Ukraine is after all very successful there. But the problem for the Russian supplies goes not just for Zaporizhia region, but also elsewhere, literally elsewhere. In this video of Nemesis Group, that's the drone unit that is in Ukrainian drone army, they show how they operate from the Russian border all across the southern regions of Ukraine to Crimea. So Crimea is basically cut from supplies. Yes, not fully cut because of the Kerch Bridge, but the road that goes through occupied territories is under Ukrainian fire control. And let's watch a video they presented to us. All of the strikes are happening on P280 road. For example, this is Ural truck, this is the supply vehicle full of fuel. Yeah, this is some sort of the Russian Ural truck, and this Russian soldier, he's not that fast, I would say. Some of the army equipment, Kamaz trucks, drone protection are sometimes on the vehicles, and here we have daytime images. So Russia has absolutely tremendous losses, and the world media also tell about those. Guys, this is crazy. It has never been like that. And guys from the Nemesis Group, they're just awesome. So the second army in the world, let's call it a Russian Federation, is losing this war. It is already visible. The things like that, they're not happening to Ukrainian army. I mean, this massive destruction of supplies or very sensitive equipment or long-range strikes that harm economy of Ukraine. No, it is happening all in Russia or on occupied territories by Russia. Guys, not only every day we have those videos, but every few hours. Some of the Russian convoys ambushed, several of the Russian vehicles, supply road is cut, some of the bridge, some of the Russian headquarters, some of the Russian command center. It's all happening like that, guys. It's very fresh, by the way, as you may see. This is the Russian MRAP, by the way, quite rare. Yeah, they may put Red Cross, but this is the Russian military convoy. Maybe their medical evac vehicle or something, which was hit as well, but this is the reality as it is for the Russian supplies and for the Russian army. This strike, by the way, happened not far away from Berdyansk. This is the new location. So Mariupol, Berdyansk, this is the main road for Ukrainian hunting. Here you may see the points where the strikes are happening the most, so not far away from Mariupol, very close to the Russian border itself, at the Russian border, and sometimes even on the Russian territory. Well, in Rostov Oblast it's kind of rare, but mostly in Belgorod and Kursk, northern areas. Yeah, this is very close to the front line, you may see the drone protection nets, but Russia has losses everywhere. Oh, this is very interesting. Is it some sort of the engineering equipment? Well, this is the Kamaz truck, probably yes, it was the engineering of the Russian army. Well, at the same time, Russian officials are saying about the extension or expansion of the strikes on the capital city of Kiev and other cities in Ukraine. With those useless strikes, Russians are just telling that we cannot achieve our goal militarily, that's why we're gonna terrorize you. This is our new tactics. Well, actually, that's the old one, start from the very beginning of the full-scale attack of Russia against Ukraine back in February 2022. But anyways, they will not achieve their goals in any sort of the condition, because strikes on Kiev will not resolve the Russian main issue with supplies, with logistics, with command which is incompetent, and inability of the Russian military to achieve results on the front lines. My friends, just a short reminder, please press like to this video and subscribe for the channel. Both two of those actions are for free, but making those will really help this video to be boosted by YouTube algorithms. And also, if you can, you may support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join. Yeah, obviously if you can. My friends, by supporting this channel, you are making this content possible. And now let's continue with the video. This is how cruise missile has been shot down recently by Ukrainian defenders. Yeah, really epic. Well, Ukraine has the means of the air defense, but Ukraine of course needs PAC-3 missiles for Patriot systems. That's the only tool which may shut down Russian ballistics. The good news is that America is up to allow Poland to produce those missiles on its own territory. It should be a great step to reinforce the capabilities of NATO itself, especially eastern flank, Poland, to protect not just itself but entire alliance. And also they might send or sell those weapons to Ukraine because Ukraine is the main shield of Europe nowadays. So we have fantastic news recently about NATO. First of all, Americans will deploy the forces after all to Poland. As I told you, the air defense production, and Europe is going to deploy roughly 60,000 troops to the eastern flank of NATO, which is great, but I hope that they will do it very fast. Yes, we know that Russia is cornered in Ukraine, but at the same time Russians need some sort of the victory to show to their people, and they might escalate against NATO country which is not that ready for the full-scale drone war with the Russian army. But we'll see, hopefully they'll not do it, but NATO should be ready for any sort of this scenario, and I see positive steps, which is absolutely great, and they're sane generals, commanders, and hopefully European officials will also understand fully the possible threat from Russia. And here we have news that NATO will strengthen the defense of its eastern flank by a new structure that would facilitate the rapid deployment of the forces in Latvia and Estonia in the event of war with Russia. Reuters published the article about it. So an army corps typically commands 3 divisions, 40 up to 60,000 troops, which is nice. Well, still I'm not sure whether they're gonna deploy the actual forces or they're gonna apply logistics for the possible deployment of the forces. Now let's go to military maps, and here we have the Russian analyst Rebar. Okay, and he shows that Russia got some of the territorial gains in Alexandrovka, Kolomytsy and Dobropasovo. They put their flags. I wonder for how long. This is Dnipropetrovsk direction before Ukraine performed already the counterattack at the same place. Well, Russians definitely were spotted with their flags, however, just a single soldier. So a single guy managed to penetrate entire Ukrainian defense without being spotted. Yeah, one guy. But it allowed Russia to mark everything of that in red color, showing that they're very close to Pokrovsk village, or Pokrovsk town, it's better to say. Yeah, after all, it's town, kind of the big one is for the village. And Russians are showing Ukrainian counterattack at the same, almost the same direction towards Berezova, Sosnovka, and one more Ukrainian attack is happening not far away from Voskresenka. And the Ukrainian territorial gains, as you see, they are similar to the Russian territorial gains in the same direction. Guys, it could be not the real picture, it's just what Russians are publishing, okay, their military map. I understand that Ukraine is going on counteroffensive, and actually there's the huge gray zone. Ukraine already took Berezova under control long time ago. Russians just hesitate to show everything of that. Instead, they're showing Ukrainian massive attacks with multiple of the arrows, and de facto it was just a single freaking soldier, who is probably some sort of the Russian hero. Well, Gerasimov will not give him medal for that. Instead, the guy will be left without supplies. By the way, here he goes. And yeah, the destiny for him is well known and understandable, because with this large shoulder delivering some of the supplies for him, it's not possible. Well, at the same time, in Konstantinovka, yes, the situation for Ukraine gets worse after Russia accumulated most of the resources at this particular direction, everything they have, and they advanced to the settlement with the gray zone. But even in this direction, which is not that profitable for Ukraine, Ukraine sends more reinforcements and even counterattacks towards Nikolaevka, or Mykolaievka, it's better to say in Ukrainian, keeping the presence even in the outskirts of the Chasiv Yar, making it impossible for Russians to advance to the eastern flank of Konstantinovka. It was their plan to go from at least 2 of the directions, but instead they have to advance from mainly a single one. They just split those attack vectors also from 2 of the directions, but they cannot reach the city with their main forces. Ukraine is still defending Konstantinovka quite well, and the fight for it may go for for a very long time. Interesting. Russia is preparing to declare mobilization. Russians have begun to be issued mobilization orders en masse, the Moscow Times reports. A mobilization order is issued at military registration and enlistment offices where Russians liable for military service are summoned ostensibly to clarify data. Ostensibly. From this context, I understood that ostensibly is like allegedly, yeah, to clarify data, you go for the purpose and you get militarized, basically mobilized to the Russian army. This document contains instructions of what a citizen should do in the event of mobilization announcement, where and when to appear, what to take with them. A representative of one of the military registration and enlistment offices in a conversation with the publication called this a preparation for general mobilization. I also think like that. I think mobilization to the Russian army is just imminent. And you know, there are some of the provocations, for example, from Belarus are happening. I don't believe in that threat from Belarus or even from Russia that they might attack some of the northern Ukrainian territories of Kharkiv Oblast, Chernigiv, Kyiv, Zhytomyr and so on without announcing a huge massive mobilization. They're simply in lack of the resources. Without mobilization it will not work. But to announce the mobilization, Russians need to come out with some of the idea, and we see it is already happening, like Ukraine hit some of the Starobilsk training center for our youth. So many people have lost their lives. Yeah, in fact, it was the Russian military facility, but they call it some sort of the college. And now they attack the capital city of Ukraine, Kyiv. And they might escalate even further to announce this new mobilization. So we need to monitor Russian threats and what do they do, like what is kaboomed even in Russia, because the theme for Putin to be elected before in the year 2000, when he for the first time became the president of the Russian Federation, was massive attacks in multiple of the cities of Russia. There was so-called Chechen terror threat created for Russians for them to elect the guy with ex-KGB experience who promises to be really harsh with those evil people. So the same stuff could happen with Russians. So Russians might perform this false flag operation as they did with this Ryazan sugar terror attacks in 2000 and 1999, as far as I remember. So those years for Putin to be elected. Yeah, Ryazan sugar is well-known story. You may check it out online. That's the special operation of FSB to blow up the own buildings of Russians that was uncovered by accident. And later on, FSB did everything possible to bury down the story, but it went live. And the whistleblower, basically a Russian ex-agent who went to UK, he was later on poisoned. So guys, that's all what I wanted to tell you for today. Please support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or you may join membership of the channel by pressing button join if you watch me on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for your kind support. You are making my job possible. And also don't forget to press like to this video and subscribe for the channel. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.